Hello and welcome to the Digital Cook. Today I'm going to make a Greek dish with eggplant and tofu. It's called the Greek eggplant skillet dinner. You can also make it for lunch if you like. But it has eggplant as the main ingredient and firm tofu. So my ingredients today are going to be these spices: crushed red pepper, cinnamon, oregano, cumin. I'm going to add a little bit of fresh basil, diced tomatoes, garlic, some eggplant, some tofu that's very firm, mint, and feta cheese will be the topping for the dish. So there's two steps to this dish. The first part is you're going to be browning the tofu, then brown the eggplant, and then I'll be mixing the spices with tomatoes and popping it into the broiler to brown the feta cheese and melt it all over the whole dish. So I'm going to slice the eggplant for this dish. Rather than cubes, you do want to put it into slices. This is a ripe organic eggplant. I'm going to take half of this tofu. I'm making this for 2 people instead of 4, so half of this should be plenty. And just cut it into cubes. First, I'm going to brown the tofu in olive oil. Fairly hot pan so it gets nice and brown. I'm going to turn it down just a little. Now I'm going to add some garlic to the pan that I was cooking the tofu in. I cooked the tofu for about 5 minutes to get it cooked through. So I'm going to put in the garlic for the dish into the oil before I add the eggplant. And I'm doing 4 or 5 minutes per side for this eggplant. Okay, now I'm going to mix the topping while I'm waiting for the eggplant to cook, putting in the tomatoes, and then I will add all of my spices to this. So I'm doing a fairly generous amount of oregano leaves, about a teaspoon of these. I'm going to do half a teaspoon of the cinnamon. Half a teaspoon of cumin. So when I'm done cooking the eggplant, this will be the topping for the dish. Now I'm going to add the tofu back to the eggplant in the pan. I'm actually going to take it off the heat because I don't need to cook the eggplant anymore. And then there's 2 more little things I need to do before I put it under the broiler for about 3 minutes. I'm going to add my topping to the eggplant. Should be nice and rich for the eggplant with all that lovely tofu. And finally, I'm going to top it with feta cheese. Okay, I'm pulling the dish out of the broiler. And one thing I forgot to mention earlier is be sure to use an oven-proof skillet when you do this dish. You do not want to ruin your skillet. It should be oven-proof. And as you can see, the cheese is nicely browned and the dish is ready to serve. The dish is now complete, and I just added a little bit of fresh mint to the top to give it a nice fresh flavor.